This is Deepa. I'm the pharmacist and owner here at Allen Pharmacy and Wellness. And today we're going to be talking about masks. So, apparently, now there's a lot of controversy over whether we should wear a mask, whether we should not wear a mask. So, I thought that today, for today's topic, we would talk about some of the myths, some of the truths, some of the facts, just things that people are hearing, and try to debunk some of those and see where the facts lie and what we can be doing about it or how we should be approaching the subject. So with that being said, some of the questions that we were receiving was, is the cloth mask even worth it? So for that, I'm going to say, well, of course, the cloth mask is not like a surgical mask or an N95 mask, right? So it is not going to be, it doesn't have filters in it. So it's not going to be as effective as spreading spreading the germs or spreading coronavirus or receiving it in that case. But what it does help with is it still creates that physical barrier, and that helps, like if the person is coughing or sneezing, it helps to contain your own droplets, because as we know, COVID-19, it spreads through viral droplets that can be in the air, and those droplets can stay in the air for at least a few hours if there were people that were in and around that area that had just coughed or sneezed in that area, or even talking, because when you're talking, you're also going to have some movement of germs back and forth. So having that physical barrier there will definitely help with that. And it also helps you not touch your face, right? You're not going to be touching your nose, your mouth, if you have that physical barrier there, which also helps to prevent the spread of the disease. The second question I had received or had heard about was, if I'm not sick, I don't need to wear a mask. And that is not true, right? Because now we know that you could be a carrier. You don't always have to have symptoms just because you have COVID. And so you may not even know. So we come in contact with so many people as we're out and about, and things are kind of open, kind of not open. And we have no idea who might be a carrier, who may be infected, and they could be just walking around regular people. They might not even be sneezing or coughing, but they could be infecting other people that they might be coming in contact with. So it's not true that if you're not sick, you don't need to be wearing a mask. Also, it does not mean that just because we're wearing a mask that we now don't need to be social distancing ourselves, or that we don't need to be staying home, because as we know, the numbers are going up. I know, pretty sure everybody's following those like a hawk, and I wanted to reiterate, about 2/3 of the people that are being admitted to the ICUs are under the age of 65 and with no prior pre-existing conditions. So that doesn't mean just that, the mask is just one protection. Social distancing, staying at home, all those parameters have not gone away just because now we're wearing a mask. So it's not like we can wear a mask and now do everything else that we were originally doing. So you still have to continue all those proper hygiene things, social distancing, washing your hands, not touching your face. All of those have not gone away. Okay. And the other thing was the way that people are wearing the mask. It's not true that you only need your mouth to be covered. You also want your nose to be covered, right? Because, as we said earlier in the video as well, it spreads with, COVID spreads through viral droplet particles in the air. So if you're going to breathe that air, then you're going to breathe that through your nose. So you do want your nose and your mouth to be covered, and you want a pretty tight seal around your mouth. So guys, if you have beards or goatees and mustaches, it may not be a bad idea to kind of, shave that off for now, because all those hair particles will create space between the mask and the outside, and that gives you not a very tight, good seal around that. So you have to be aware of that, at the very least. Now, then there were some people that said that if I wear a mask, I'm going to get sick with my own carbon dioxide that I am breathing in. Now, that, yes, if you're a child less than 2 years of age, your body is too small and you might have to worry about something like that. Or if you're paralyzed and can't move your mask for some reason, or need additional assistance, then that might kind of be a case, but for other people, just like oxygen gets in the mask, carbon dioxide can get out of the mask. So we don't have to worry about carbon dioxide toxicity and think that wearing the mask is going to make you sick. Also, sometimes happens to me too, when I have it on for several, even if it's like half hour, 45 minutes, you start to feel a little uneasy and you're just, it just feels a little hot and warm in there. You could take it down for a few seconds and, put it back on if you're going to be in a public space. So, doing that kind of stuff, like it's not going to add to any kind of carbon dioxide toxicity because you're going to help with that, right? Another one, I think this was the sixth one, and they said masks can cause self-contamination. And let me explain this a little bit more. So, if you're wearing the mask, right? So let's see, if you're wearing the mask and let's say that there's viral particles here and I'm out and about and somebody had maybe coughed or sneezed in my vicinity and now there are viral particles on the mask. Absolutely can happen. That's the whole point, that it'll be caught in this area and not getting through into me, right? So, but if you're not taking off the masks properly, then it is quite possible that you can contaminate yourself. And now if you're touching this, then touching your face, your nose, then you might be, exposing yourself in that way. So it is very important that, when you have your mask on, that you would remove it like such and put it in the trash, right? So you're not touching everything, and then you have to wash your hands before and after so that you don't accidentally touch anything else on your face after, if in case your mask is contaminated. And then you also want to follow good hand hygiene, like we said, wash your hands, changing out your masks regularly, or if you have a cloth mask, you want to make sure you're washing it regularly to avoid that, okay? Now, the other part of that was, sorry, I had to make a little note for myself. If you actually wind up having COVID, so I had this one question, and that was kind of interesting, and they had a real concern that they had tested positive for COVID, and they thought that if they had the mask on, that they would make their own infection worse because now they'd be breathing in their own viral particles. So that is a myth. You are not going to make your own infection worse just by wearing the mask. All you'd be doing is actually protecting other people that might be around you. And with that, that's pretty much all I had. I wanted to end with showing people how to wear a mask properly. And so, as you can see, this mask has two sides, right? And the colors are blue and white. So the blue side, you want it to be pointing away. And it's also waterproof. So when somebody coughs or sneezes in your direction, it's not going to get absorbed through, which is exactly what we want, right? And so the droplets may stay there, but it won't seep through the mask so that you don't breathe it. And the white side here is going to have the absorbent pad. So in case I sneeze or cough, it would get absorbed in here and not go out, right? So that's how the mask would work. And I would put it on like such. Make sure that there's a nice tight seal right here. And make sure that it's all covered well. And that's pretty much it. And then when I want to remove it, this is how I would remove it, and I would put it straight in the trash. But that would be the ideal way to wear and remove a mask. And with that, that's pretty much all we had. I hope all the guys had a wonderful Father's Day last week. And we do have a simple present for some of our dads that are our patients and that we haven't seen in this week. But if you are in the area, please come by and see us. We have a special gift for you to thank you for being the awesome heroes in our lives and in our kids' lives. So thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye.